Recording in progress.
Okay. So let's do this without me talking through the whole process, but I'll go over quickly again, right? So it's basically right side, left side, both sides, right? For each of them, all the inhalations are the same. Slow, deliberate, full. You want to breathe in such a way that they say you'll fill up your belly. Obviously, anatomically, oxygen doesn't go there. But the image is that you want to fill your belly like a pot is being filled. So anatomically, it means your lungs are completely filled, right? So you want your belly to expand, right? So all 9 in-breaths are slow, deliberate, and filled completely. Then, as for the exhalation, strong and slow, strong and fast, and then regular. So right side, left side, middle. Make sense? Yes?
Even for the last exhalation, which is both, it's the same pattern.
Yes. Yeah, same pattern. Yeah, so remember, first we do, right? So this down, then here, press up a few times, then relax down, press up, relax. Maybe you do 3 or 4 of those. Then down, back this way. Then, you can do the egg, right? Do the egg first, and then rest. And then at your own pace, right? Then you start. Right? And if you already forgotten the sequence, then, monkey see, monkey do. Wait until I start, you can see me, then you join, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. And no need to do forceful, but deliberate. Pull up, out, and stretch your spine. Open your chest. Hold your breath.
Wants us to go back.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
In the meditation section, are we maintaining the egg visualization, or is that
Yes.
dissolved? to-
Yes. Yeah.
keep-
Oh, at the end you mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
release. Yes,
Okay.
just release everything.
All right.
Flush. There. Crooked. Oh. Okay. Now please look at your blue booklet. The basic structure of this sadhana. Sadhana is, meaning of sadhana is the method of accomplishment. Overall, this type of practice is called deity yoga. Deity here is referring to Buddhists. So, deity in other contexts can mean other entities or other concepts, other principles. Here, deity means Buddhists. Yoga here means to be united with, to be unified with. So deity yoga is to be unified with the Buddha. To be unified with the Buddha, more accurately, it is to realize the fundamental oneness in nature, meaning to realize our basic nature as Buddha. So the various sadhanas, and literally there are thousands and thousands of sadhanas. Where they differ is which deity, which Buddha they emphasize, or which Buddha are they focused on. So in this case, it's focused on Medicine Buddha. But as for how the practice is laid out, it's no matter what deity yoga practice you do, all the parts are basically there. And so there is a universal, so to say, aspect to sadhana practice, to deity yoga practice. That no matter who the deity is, no matter what Buddha principle we are training in, we are identifying with, it has the same elements. Where it changes is the form of the Buddha, the prayers and the supplications contained in there, and then of course the mantra that is accumulated. The accumulating of the mantra, as I mentioned yesterday evening, is a way to build up, for lack of better word of expression, to build up power, to build up muscles. So then the more you accumulate or build up a mantra, is basically to build up life force. Then life force that then can be transmuted into fuel for the blazing of wisdom, of clear seeing. So then the side effect is when this life force is being built up through the recitation of mantra. In this case, the side effect, because of the interdependence, right, related to the figure of Medicine Buddha, the side effect is all the things that medical doctors are looking for, all the things that medical patients are looking for, the dispelling of diseases, the pacifying of physical suffering, mental suffering on the relative level. Right? On the relative level, we all have these issues that we're dealing with. So that there's even, like in the Catholic tradition. Like last night I talked about how different saints, due to their circumstances, their story, became then saints for this or that problem. The saint of lost causes, the saint for lost objects, right? Saint Clare, random information I have. Saint Clare, disciple of Saint Francis, is the patron saint for television. So if you have a Netflix addiction, maybe go light the candle to Saint Clare. You know why? What's the interdependence there in Buddhist terms? One time Claire was very sick and she wasn't able to attend Mass at the church where Francis was celebrating Mass. And then as she was, and bedridden and also very upset that she wasn't able to attend Mass, she had a vision of what was going on in the church, like TV, like live cast, the first live cast. And so then when TV came along, some pope declared that Clare shall be the patron saint for TV. So
Robert Schuller.
So this figure of medicine Buddha, as I related yesterday, he then, because of him, when he made that promise, that determination, that vow to become fully awake, his background was a medical doctor, and then his vows and everything also use that vocabulary, use that language. Then, like many others, including now ourselves, as we train over, lifetimes to become Buddha, the interdependence of our circumstance and the state of Buddha became such that practices of medicine Buddha have the side effect of what medical doctors are looking for, what medical patients are looking for. And as many of us entering that phase of life, we're more than usual, whatever usual is, health issues are turning up one after another. And so this can provide the interdependence for pacifying health challenges, health disruptions. Like anything, we need to build up a relationship with the method before the method would work. It's no different from learning a particular form of martial arts, learning a particular musical instrument to play, learning a particular game. If you don't practice, you'll never get good at it. Sometimes people say, I don't know, this deity yoga practice, that doesn't work. That's like saying, I don't know, chess doesn't work. Violin doesn't work. Well, you didn't practice, How is it supposed to work if you don't practice? So it's a discipline. Sadhana also means discipline, a spiritual discipline. It's not fashionable these days to talk about spirituality and discipline. But this notion that spirituality doesn't involve discipline is very recent. all spiritual traditions of all cultures, spirituality is synonymous with discipline. If you don't resolve to develop a discipline around this practice, doesn't matter how good it is, it won't work. Like if you have medication and you don't take consistently, it's not going to build up the resistance, the immunity that you so much want. So same with this. Yeah. I'm not saying that this has to be it for you, but whatever it is, please settle on something and be disciplined about it. You dictate the terms of the discipline in a way. So no one is going to come and say X, Y, Z. And even if someone's going to come, you're like, right? So you need to, like develop. I also understand, like discipline just don't fall out from the sky. And somehow you catch it or you don't, or it, lands on you or not. It's not like that, right? We develop this discipline. So a sadhana is a spiritual discipline. A sadhana is a means of accomplishment. Yeah? So this is a deity yoga sadhana focused on this figure called Medicine Buddha. If you look at this nice booklet here, on page 2, you see the basic, typical representation of Medicine Buddha. Okay? Blue in color, wearing the robes, this square panel robes of a fully ordained monk. Right? In many ways, the way he is represented is very similar, if not identical, to Buddha Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha, our main reference point to what a Buddha looks like. Except that here, he is, first of all, his complexion is blue in color. Now, in this picture, which is a typical representation of Medicine Buddha, what distinguishes him as Medicine Buddha is not just the blue color, because there are other Buddhas that look like that is also blue color, and they have other names and other interdependencies, other personalities, right? This one, that is Medicine Buddha because with his left hand, which is what we call in meditation posture, left hand, meaning like that, The full meditation posture is both hands like this, the two thumbs touching, and place in the middle like this. So here we say he's in the meditation gesture on his left hand, but he's supporting a begging bowl, which is what monks and nuns eat out of, or should eat out of, just a begging bowl. But in this case, in this picture, the begging bowl is filled with healing substances, healing medicine. Then his right hand, now if you look at the Buddha here, the right hand, this is full meditation, the Buddha statue here. Full meditation, both hands like that. In this case of Medicine Buddha, the right hand is facing outwards. So this is called the gesture of giving, the gesture of generosity. And then with that hand, there is a medicinal plant that he is holding as well. So all these symbols of the healing substances in his hands. So that's the image that I have selected to put there to help with what you have to imagine yourself to be. So the first step of this sadhana is what you have to imagine, feel. Usually the word visualize is used, but I think it's a little off visualize. Then it's emphasizing a lot on the visual. But really it's not just visual. Visual is at most the starting point. More important than visual is to be able to feel like I am Medicine Buddha. To feel that, to be confident, right, that I am Medicine Buddha. Or at least right now I am manifesting Medicine Buddha. Right now. Remember earlier I talked about how each moment is the embodiment of that mental state that we have. So if we have a mental state of Medicine Buddha, then in that moment we embody that mental state. Medicine Buddha, healing Buddha. So ourselves in the form of the healing Buddha. Okay, you're going to get slightly confused because in the description of this Medicine Buddha, the hands are even simpler than in the picture, which is right hand doesn't hold a medicinal plant, right hand doesn't hold a begging bowl. So you can use your mind to Photoshop this image. Photoshop it so that the bowl, poof, the medicinal plant, poof. And also the right hand, instead of in the giving posture, it's this way and called touching the earth. Touching the earth is referring to the historical Buddhas, that the historical Buddha, when challenged by Mara, the evil one, Mara, the tempter, that came to try to dissuade Prince Siddhartha from breaking through to enlightenment. Like on the brink of his enlightenment, Mara, the tempter, Mara, the evil one, we call him, came to try to distract the Buddha. And it's said that the Buddha fundamentally dispelled the troublemaker by touching the earth with his fingers. Just the tip of his fingers touching. And the meaning of touching the earth is Mara, one of the things that Mara said to Siddhartha at that point, Siddhartha, the ascetic, not Siddhartha the prince. He was once upon a time Siddhartha the prince, then he was Siddhartha the ascetic, and Mara came to say to him, like, who do you think you are? Do you think that becoming awakened and jailbreaking my domain, which is the domain of confusion, it says, you think you have what it takes to break out of this domain and jailbreak? Think again. What evidence do you have that you have what it takes? To which Siddhartha replied, I have been working and building up this power from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. I have completed everything that I should complete to make this final jailbreak. You evil one, don't cast doubt here. And Mara challenged him, say, talk is cheap. At which point, Siddhartha touched the earth, it says. Why? By touching the earth, it said that he was summoning the earth goddess. So then the earth goddess appeared. And the earth goddess said, I bear witness that from lifetime to lifetime on me, on this earth, this person has been building up all the resources that he needs to jailbreak. And I bear witness that he has done everything. And so then Mara got very upset and left. So this is So this gesture is to say, we have overcome all obstacles now. And nothing can dissuade us. And so this is about affirming the determination to be free and having the conditions to be free. So right hand is touching the earth. So yourself, you appear in this form. Then the next part of this practice is in the space in front but above. Like maybe you can imagine that you're sitting like, I don't know, in the Grand Canyon, by a ledge, and you look out into the horizon, a clear sky. And in that clear sky, in the space in front, right, Medicine Buddha appears. So you're like, wait, I thought I'm Medicine Buddha. You are Medicine Buddha in training. You are Medicine Buddha in training. The one that appears now in front is the actual Medicine Buddha, who is the gathering, it says here in the words, the gathering of all the healing powers of the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, now coalescing, becoming Medicine Buddha in front. And so what is in front? It's rather involved, actually. So there's another picture on page 7. That's even a simplified version of what the sadhana describes on page 7. Medicine Buddha in front. Now this Medicine Buddha is unusual. If you go to Google and you type Medicine Buddha, you never quite find this image. This is particular to this practice. And this Medicine Buddha, he appears, we say, in a princely form. So he's wearing like imperial crown, and he has necklaces, he has armlets, bracelets, anklets, earrings, rings. And so this is like the regal, the royal, the princely Medicine Buddha. The symbolism here is that this is Medicine Buddha who has perfected all the qualities, all the good qualities, all the beneficial qualities. So then with these qualities, he can help others. He can relieve others' suffering. Now here, maybe you cannot see very clearly, his hands are indeed, right, holding the medicinal bowl with the left hand, and right hand is indeed in the gesture of giving and holding a medicinal plant. Then surrounding him are the 4 medicinal goddesses. You can see a white color goddess holding a lute, a string instrument like a guitar, a lute, white medicine goddess, yellow medicine goddess holding basically a flute. And then the red medicine Buddha is also holding a flute, but made from a different bone, human bone, it says. The yellow one is holding a flute made out of a vulture bone. Then the green medicine goddess holds a mirror. So they 4 are facing Medicine Buddha. The way you visualize them is not exactly according to this painting. The painting makes it look like they're seated in the intermediate directions, you know. But in fact, they're sitting in the cardinal direction. So if we paint this more accurately, you'll only see the back of the white medicine goddess, because she is sitting right in front and looking at medicine Buddha. And then if we paint this right, exactly how it should be, right? You cannot see the red goddess because she is behind, medicine Buddha. And you'll see the one on the left and the right, the yellow and the green, left, right. Then surrounded by these protector deities, Shanglon is in the corner there. There's a mention of Shanglon. Look at page 8. In the surrounding circle is the great protector Shanglon, with an assembly of rishis, sages, gods, nagas, planners, stars, gyalpos, 10 spirits, maras, and king warriors, like an open pod of sesame seeds. What that means is like, you know, when sesame seed, when the pod is ripe, and even you just touch it, it bursts open and the seeds explode. So an explosion, basically, of all these beings gathered around. And all these beings gathered around, they are all to do with the healing arts, including the bringer of diseases. Those who cause disease and those who cure diseases, they're all gathered in the space in front. Which means, you know, medicine Buddha is in charge. Even the troublemakers to good health are part of his retinue, his posse. So that's called generation or creation in front of you. Now, some practical questions that often come up. You know, so I'm supposed to think like here, like right here, and then generation in front, like right here. Like for you, you're like, oh, like here, and then like right here. No? Actually, it doesn't matter. But the orientation between self and other, that's important. That so, you know, if for whatever reason you think this is happening at the Grand Canyon, fine. And it doesn't have to be here. And on top of that, it doesn't have to be here and there. Or there being there. But, you know what I'm saying? The relationship between the two, the self and the generation in front, that orientation, yes, you want to keep. And you can't help it, you know, sometimes you would be like, almost like you feel like I'm just like a fly on the wall watching this. Right? And then if that's how what comes up, then at the least what you have to do is you look at the monk medicine Buddha and you say, that's who I am. And the princely one is that's who, the actuality of medicine Buddha, which I will become. So the potential to be medicine Buddha, the actuality of being medicine Buddha, is this the self-creation and the creation in front. Yes?
Okay, so it's the relationship between myself and what?
Medicine Buddha.
That's what's most important.
The orientation.
The orientation between myself and medicine Buddha.
Yes. Like Guru, right? Your guide, medicine Buddha, actual medicine Buddha, and then me training to identify with medicine Buddha. Now, also appearing in the form of medicine Buddha. Does that make sense? No. Why not?
Am I the
Not that
egg?
I don't believe you,
Yeah,
but
no,
tell me
I-
not why not, then we can clarify.
Am I the egg?
No more egg now. The egg is finished. Yeah, it's turned into omelette and I've eaten it. Now we're doing something else here. Now we're doing this, you know. Yeah, you know.
The egg is
Mick already ate the omelette.
So as we begin, as I begin the visualization,
Uh-huh.
as I begin,
Uh-huh.
who am I? Medicine Buddha is here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I start as Medicine Buddha.
And the monk form of medicine Buddha. Yeah. See?
Page 2.
Page 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the monk in training.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah. And then in the space in front.
Is this one?
Yes.
This makes sense.
See? It's not so complicated.
So what?
It's not so complicated.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
But it takes discipline. Yeah. It's not complicated. It just takes discipline to kind of keep it straight. You know, like. Cheryl, help us ask questions.
Well, I think it's, what you're talking about is what, like, exactly what we're doing here. We're sitting here and you're the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and you're
Mhm.
saying that's what we're taught, we're just doing that,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
You're doing whatever you can do to be a Buddha, a medicine Buddha.
Yes.
And there's a real one sitting in front
Yes.
of you that you
Yeah. Right.
can
That.
supplicate, basically,
Yes.
or whatever, follow.
Right.
Yeah, establishing a relationship with.
Right. Establishing a relationship with medicine Buddha as the what you want to become. But don't start off by, I'm a little worm.
Right.
Poor me. Then you'll never become medicine Buddha. Because you start with, I am medicine Buddha. But then also you're like, but not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So then actual medicine Buddha. Huh? The teacher.
Another question about the egg. Okay, we go through the whole egg and breathing thing because we need to disengage
Yes.
from what we think we are
Yes.
first.
Right.
That's the first step, is
Right.
to say, okay, I'm not this thing that I think I am.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
an empty space, I'm a gloating egg.
Yes.
Then that drops.
Right. Then that drops at the end of that, right? Then you do the breath,
Do
right?
the breaths.
So that preliminary, so to say, right? You can
Yeah.
insert it in any deity practice that you do. It's not just particular to this. In fact, it's not in this. I'm
Right.
just bringing that in, folding that in as a preliminary step to. So if you look at page 1 here, yeah, I'm still just giving you an overview of the structure of this. Yeah, we're not actually gone in there yet. But now that the question has already turned up, so if you see on page 1, it says from the state of emptiness. You see that? Yeah. So where do you start? You start from the state of emptiness. Then you say, well, what is the state of emptiness? Well, there's a lot that can be said about it, right? One way to access some notion of what this emptiness is the egg. But the egg that, dissolves. Right? So the egg, the added element of cleansing the breath, yeah, because that really settles the mind, the cleansing of the breath. Yeah, the breath is cleansed now. The inside is all cleansed. You have a good start, a fresh start. So from there, right, after the 3 rounds, then now you're going to settle your mind. And at that point, right, on page 1, you can repeat that mantra there. Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddho Hang. Then you just remain. So the literal meaning of this mantra, this is called the purifying mantra. And so now the ultimate purifying. Right? There is the relative purifying, which is what we did. The egg, from the egg, then working in the energetic body, breathing in all the good stuff, sucking out all the stale air, stale winds, And there too, there's the interdependence that is related to your health. Doing this exercise can really help your nasal, stuff. We don't breathe properly, so we're learning how to have better breathing. So a lot of things is going on as there's so many layers that is being addressed. But we cannot do this by thinking about all these layers. You just get completely lost and distracted. But I'm just saying that there's all these different layers that is being worked at, right? So anyway, that's the relative cleanse. You can think of it that way. Relative purifying, right? Then now you enter the ultimate purifying, which is Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddho Hang. That's the mantra. What the mantra is saying, literally, Swabhava is own nature, the nature of anything and everything, What is the nature of this strawberry? What is the nature of this cheese? What is the nature of this table? What is the nature of this gong? What is the nature of this iPad? What is the nature of me? So the own nature. So here it says the own nature, the own nature of anything, the self nature of anything is Shuddha. Shuddha. Shuddha is pure, pristine. Now, what is this pure? What is this purity? What is this pristine? Pristineness? Emptiness. Indestructibility. Remember earlier? I said, in Sutrayana we call it emptiness. So Heart Sutra is a Sutrayana presentation of reality. So form is emptiness. In Vajrayana, we say the indestructible nature. Another vocabulary from the Vajrayana is purity, Shuddha. So the self-nature of all phenomena, in this case actually your self-nature, this first Swabhava, your self-nature is pure, is pristine, is indestructible, is empty. They're all synonyms. Purity, indestructible nature, emptiness. They're all synonyms. So here, Swabhava Shuddha. It's like a cue in the form of a declaration. We have the Declaration of Independence, right? This is the declaration of true independence, true freedom, which is emptiness. So when you say Om Swabhava Shuddha, right? You're saying, you're declaring, but it's also a prompt for yourself, that your true nature is this indestructible nature, is this pure nature, is this emptiness. First part of that mantra. Second part of that mantra is the Swabhava of Sarva Dharma. Look at that mantra. You have to look at the mantra and follow. Otherwise, you have no idea what I'm talking about. On page 1. The Sarva Dharma of, the Swabhava now of Sarva Dharma. So the self-nature of all phenomena. Sarva Dharma means all phenomena. So not only is my nature pure, indestructible, empty. Right? These are synonyms, right? But the nature of all phenomena, all things, all experiences, all that exist, whether animate or inanimate, is similarly Shuddha as well. Yeah. So next part, Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddho. It's also pure, it's also indestructible, it's also empty. That kind of a prostaphy of some sort, I don't know what you call that. It's not a prostaphy. Hung. Yeah. Shuddho hung. Right? Shuddho hung. Right? Hung there is ahang. Ahang is I am. So I am the indestructible nature of everything. I am the indestructible, a more loose translation, but conveys the meaning that mantra is saying. Who am I? Who are you? I am the indestructible nature of everything. Animate, inanimate. I am that nature, that indestructible nature. That's the ultimate purity. That's the ultimate emptiness. Without visualization, without technique, without any accommodations made even. So in a way, it's harder because no accommodations are being made here. Sorry, no accommodations. Disability or not, sorry. Handicap or not, sorry. So the ultimate, we're always like, ultimate, but kind of hard. So we have the relative, that's making accommodations for all the different levels that you and I are at. So we have the egg, and then the breathing, and then dissolving the egg. All those are the relative level accommodations that are being made to help us get closer and closer to this ultimate understanding, the ultimate realization of emptiness. I am. If you want to, I don't know, kind of make some analogies, yeah? This is like God telling Moses who he is. I am that I am. I am. Except that here, this indestructible nature. Right, then next from there it says from the state of emptiness, or in the state of emptiness. You could also substitute in. I don't know. What do you think of when you say from? From the state of emptiness upon the lotus and moon I appear. Coming out of, yeah. So you should not think coming out of as in having left, I came from North Carolina. Right? Now I'm not there. But no, there's no leaving the state of emptiness. Yeah, so maybe better in the state of emptiness. Right? And the state of emptiness is not something that you have to create. It's just how things are. So now it's not saying that, with this meditation, what was previously not empty has been made emptied. No. That will be, we call nihilistic. That will be destroying what is there. This emptiness that we're talking about is already. It is. I am that I am. It's I am already, Where the difference is, do you know or not know? So the training here is to train to know in a more clear and stable way that I am this indestructible nature. Know or not know, you still are this indestructible nature. So the training is not training to be more indestructible or more empty or more interdependent. These are all synonyms. The interdependent nature, which is the emptiness nature, which is the indestructible nature, which is the pure nature. They are all synonyms. So the training is not to become more interdependent, more empty, more pristine, more indestructible. The training is to gain clear conviction and stability and trust and finally realization that yes, I am this nature. So, in this state of emptiness, upon a lotus and moon seat, I appear as Medicine Buddha. Diane, now, the monk guy. You, okay? Then some details are given. Body radiant in color or complexion. Like lapis lazuli. I don't like that. I think it's a mistranslation, but it's so common now, everybody. And I sell malas with lapis lazuli, so I have to say lapis lazuli.
You mentioned the word, a term for blue last night that I couldn't quite...
Beryl.
Beryl.
Beryl. B-E-R-Y-L. Yeah, sapphire. B-E-R-Y-L. Now Google it and you'll see the color. Yeah. Oh yeah, then yeah, further complication, right? But blue. Yeah. Brilliant dark blue. I think Buddha Bob Thurman, that is, makes this point. Lapis lazuli, it's a mistranslation. Lapis lazuli, kind of dull with specks of gold, you know. You have to really polish it for it to be shiny.
This picture's pretty radiant. That picture makes it look more radiant.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, just because since it's a statue, it's
Yeah.
not flat like that.
Right. Anyway, yeah, these are just, you know, kind of cues. Yeah, visual cues. Don't let your visualization be encumbered by the visual cues and then the word cues, you know. I increasingly I like to say all these are cues. They are cues, they are prompts, right? So don't get too fixated with the words. You have to understand that they were composed in Tibetan, right? And then they were composed in 17th century in Tibetan. And today, not many people fully understand 17th century Tibetan to start with, right? Then they got turned into English, right? And then English, when people chose to translate into English, right? Many choices are being made, right? So the semantic field of words don't exactly correspond, right? So if you take a fundamentalist approach to words, then you'll be in a bind very quickly. But if you understand that all of these are just fingers pointing to the moon, then you don't need to, fixate so much. And I can tell you I've changed in my own understanding of this from experience, and from learning more from the teachers. To our credit, on the end of like importing something new, right? I have spent my earlier part of my training with people who are very careful about every single word that is being translated, that is being turned into English. And I think that's important work to do. But one unfortunate side effect of that is we turn this into like false idols. Words turn into false idols. Then you're worshiping false idols rather than the true God, so to say. The true God, so to say, are not these words. These are cues. These are prompts. Then including tanka, statues, paintings. They are visual prompts. So traditional Buddhist expression, finger pointing to the moon. Make sure you look for the moon. So then you don't need to fight over, which finger. This finger is little deformed. This finger is manicured, and oh, that finger is really rough. And if you see the moon, you see the moon. Yeah. So anyway, here then it says, possessing the glory of the marks and signs. And those are the classical description of Buddha Shakyamuni. It said that when Buddha Shakyamuni was born, the ancient seers, right, that his father employed, these are wise men, right, the equivalent of the wise men. So they study the skies, they study the signs, physical signs, and when they saw the young prince, they told the father, he has all the signs of a great person. And so in ancient India, there's a list of like 32 major meaning, like obvious marks that marked him, that set him apart as someone very special, and 80 minor marks. So it's, in other words, here it's saying this form of medicine Buddha is no different from that form that people recognize Siddhartha to be a great person. So here then, right hand is in the mudra of pressing on the earth. That's the earth touching mudra. And pressing on the earth is a very literal translation, but it's basically touching the earth, asking the earth to bear witness. Left is resting in the mudra of equanimity. Again, a rather literal translation. So this is a very careful, translating every word. This translator. But really, we're talking about meditation. Hand like this. I possess Chogusumdam. Chogusum. I possess. Less literally, wearing the 3 Dharma robes. It's just wearing the 3 Dharma robes. The 3 robes, like the Dharma robes in 3 parts, if you want to be more accurate, right? It's not like it's wearing like 3 robes, It's like India is really high. Like, who wants to wear 3 layers of robes, right? Just so you understand, it's the Dharma robes in 3 parts, which is there's a lower robe, right? There's an inner upper robe, and there's an outer robe. The inner robe is like, it's like the underwear. All the sweat it absorbs. Then the outer robe is to protect from outer elements. So those are the 3 robes. The lower robe, like this is the upper robe, and this is the outer. So those are the 3 robes. Seated with legs in Vajrasana. Vajrasana is a posture, name of a posture. We here in the West, we call it full lotus. So that symbolizes, more important than medicine Buddha is in the full lotus immovable position. It's not like medicine Buddha is crippled, like just sitting there and never moving. Whatever he wants, people bring to him. The meaning of this is that it's unmoving. The mind, the heart, is unmoving. Nothing can move medicine Buddha. The afflictive emotions have no effect on him, on you. You are this nature, the unmoving, stable, always even. Nothing shakes you. That's the meaning of saying he sits in this unmoving. Vajra means indestructible, right? Literally the indestructible asana, right? You know Hatha Yoga. asana, posture. So Vajra asana, the unmoving, indestructible posture. So that's you. Then in front is the Guru Medicine Buddha. Medicine Buddha, our guide, our protector, and also our destination. We want to become like him. And you can become like him. Then there will be another Buddha called Medicine Buddha. So in fact, in the mythology, right, related to Medicine Buddha, there are 7 Medicine Buddhas with slightly different names. There's a set of 7 Medicine Buddhas, in which Shakyamuni is one of them. So Medicine Buddha. So yes, you can become a Medicine Buddha. Yes, so then page 3 begins the description of the Medicine Buddha, the actual Medicine Buddha in front. Before me, in the center of a 4-petal lotus, this is a huge lotus with only 4 petals. In the middle of this lotus, from a bum syllable appears a white lotus. So within this 4-petal big lotus, at the center is another lotus, a white lotus. Now this lotus has many petals. And from an R syllable appears a full moon. And on this full moon seat, right? So like this, full moon, like a flat disc. Yeah? But being that it's a moon disc, it's white in color. If it is sun disk, in other practices, you come across sun disk, and later in this practice, there will be sun disk or sun seat, then like this, red. Well, without the yellow. But now it's a white one. So white resting on the lotus. Then on this seat appears Medicine Buddha Guru. Medicine Buddha, our guide. Guru, our guide, our spiritual guide. King of lapis lazuli light, essence of all the gathered Buddhas of past, present, and future. That's what 3 times referred to. Past, present, future. Body is blue in color, like a completely clear sky. His eyes are wide, like Utpala lotus flowers, gazing into the 10 directions towards beings to be tamed. His hair is like blue sky, as in the color, right? So bluish black, half bound up top and half flowing loosely down his back. At the peak of his top knot is a precious jewel and the sun and moon. Mandala is very literal translation. Basically, there's an ornament of sun and moon. And what does this mean? These protect all wandering beings from poverty. So the precious jewel dispels poverty. Then sun dispels sicknesses that are of the cold nature, and moon calms down sicknesses that is of heat nature. The inflammation I was talking about. Inflammation is not the only health problem. The other health problem is cold illnesses. Cold illnesses comes from basically inability to digest food and nutrition. Those are cold types of diseases. So the fact that his hair has a jewel and the sun and the moon has meaning, is what it's saying here. He is graced with a crown of various precious jewels. of the 5 Buddha families with Akshobhya as the chief. So this is a reference to how his crown has the 5 Buddha families, in which in the center is the main Buddha family, Akshobhya. Akshobhya is the Buddha of the... So this is the 5 Buddha principles, the 5 Buddha mandalas. Maybe EBS will offer a course like that, you know. It's basic tantric, like basic Vajrayana, what's the word? Template for organizing a whole host of things like the 5 aggregates, 5 elements, 5 directions, 5 afflictive emotions, 5 wisdom. They all fall into one of these families. They're called the 5 families, like the 5 potentials. So he's wearing this crown. And again, his body has the marks and the signs. And so here it's not, then it says on the top of page 5, this describes what he's holding in his hand. His right hand is in the mudra of granting generosity, holding a completely victorious arura plant, meaning effective, meaning very potent medicinal plant called arura. Arura is name of a medicinal plant. It said that the arura fruit can heal all diseases. The single panacea to all illnesses. His left hand is in the mudra, in the posture, in the gesture of equanimity. Again, that word equanimity in this context. But holding a begging bowl filled with medicinal nectar. His upper and lower body are decked in white and red silk robes. He's adorned with various jewels and is seated, again, in that Vajra asana, the indestructible, full lotus, in other words. Body is graced with the marks and signs, the 32 and 80. His speech possesses the 60 branches of melody. Don't ask me what they are, I have no idea. Meaning pleasant. His mind rests evenly in the 100 samadhis. Samadhis is the stable mind, unmoving, stable mind. He dwells surrounded by all the lineage gurus of the medicine tradition. So all the great doctors. Doctors of not just the body, doctors of the mind, and not just psychologists, doctors of the mind, but doctors of the heart. You can say the outer, inner, and secret levels of doctors. Outer doctors is out doctors of the body. Inner doctors, today we call them psychologists and therapists, right? Then secret doctor, this is the Dharma doctors, right? So Medicine Buddha is surrounded by all of them. And if you are connected to medical tradition, you can think, the forefathers of Western medicine, they are there. Maybe the executives of Pfizer's, I don't know. Not up there, maybe on the side. See, you have to visualize both the good and the bad related to whatever the topic is, because you want to elevate, especially the quote-unquote bad, the pharmaceuticals. You want to elevate them. In other words, these days our politics, sorry I have to mention, seem to appeal to the worst of us, our self-interest. It makes sense in a way, because that's how people would vote for you. He's looking out for me. Me, looking out for me, right? I get it, But I dream of a day where, my politician would challenge me to sacrifice myself, right? To bring the best out of me. So in the same way, in this visualization, That's why, later there's a mention, yeah? So let's jump ahead to page 8, right? On page 8 it says, the surrounding circle is the great protector Changlon. He is a protector, a form of Mahakala, for those of you who know what Mahakalas are. He's a form of Mahakala, especially made a pledge to guard this practice. This practice has a special lineage. It's the lineage of the founding father of Tibetan medicine, Yuto Yongten Gompo. And Changlon made a special promise to protect this lineage, this healing lineage. So the composer of this practice is one of the great masters of the Drigong Kagyo lineage, which is the lineage that I'm a part of. But he was also trained as a medical doctor. That's why he has this practice. So he wasn't only a Dharma doctor, so to say, he was also a medical doctor, and he blended the two together. Yeah. Now, so here anyway, the great protector Changlon, with an assembly of rishis. Rishis are the ancient sages. Then gods, from the god realm. Nagas are these subterranean serpent spirits. Planets and stars. So the zodiac. The planets and the stars are understood to have powers and entities associated with them. Then Gyalpos. Gyalpos, literally the word means king. But here it's not talking about kings. It's talking about dead spirits of powerful people. Gyalpo. And in the Tibetan world, a lot of problems are caused by Gyalpos. These are very powerful people who have died. And because in their life, when they are alive, they're so used to, bossing everyone around, they don't stop bossing, even on the other side. So Gyalpo can cause problems. Zen spirit. Zen spirit is usually said to reside in rocky landscapes. Imagine as red in appearance. Maras are the tempters, Ging warriors, I don't know who they are. But some kind of warrior spirits. Right? So these are, you could say, kind of sketchy entities. But now you put them in the retinue of Medicine Buddha. That's what I mean by, if you have, ambivalent or even negative feelings towards, the pharmaceuticals, don't put them out there. Bring them into the mandala so that they can be transformed, so that they can be changed. We want to elevate them. So that's so this assembly in front is a magnificent display of many different. And when we first start practicing this, don't try to feel the presence or visualize all of that. It's sufficient even to just have the princely Medicine Buddha in front, the monk Medicine Buddha myself, and say, may I become like you? May I achieve the same level of achievement you have achieved? Then, when you have a little bit more capacity, you can imagine the 4 goddesses. Next level of importance. Then all the master healers of all cultures, all traditions, also surrounding in the next circle. Then you can add it. And then the pharmaceuticals and the health HMOs and the insurance company and the health department of the city. add more and more, right? But mainly just the princely medicine Buddha in front. All of this until now is setting the stage. The way it is generally practiced, like how do you do the practice? Okay, so the setting of the stage continues to page 9. Right, we've covered page 8, right? That's the retinue. Now, page 9 it says, right, in the center at the 3 places. In the center is referring to, here, there. Then, at the 3 places of the main deity and the 4 goddesses. So they are at the center of the gathering in front. 3 places, never in these sadhanas, doesn't matter medicine Buddha, Tara, whatever the Buddha. When it says 3 places, you should know it's talking about here, here, and here. Those are the 3 places. Here, here, and here. Crown, throat, heart. Not the organ heart, but the heart center. The center. But not on the surface, okay? Inside. Not on the surface, inside. Not on the surface. Not the third eye. No, inside. From those 3 places, basically, are the 3 syllables. And whenever they say 3 syllables, they are Om, Ah, Hum. Those are the 3 syllables. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. They are the essence of all mantras. Om is the essence of the enlightened form. Ah is the essence of enlightened speech and energy. Hum is the essence of enlightened heart or mind. Om Ah Hum. So there's also simple meditation of using Om Ah Hum to purify body, speech, and mind. So back to the egg, okay? So between egg and omelette, you can add Om Ah Hum meditation, which is then around the area at the top of the egg where if you had a body still, there's a white Om, red Ah, blue Hum inside that egg. Then you can chant Om Ah Hum, Om Ah Hum. When you chant Om, that white Om glows. Ah glows. Hum glows. Om Ah Hum. When you want to do that practice combined with breath, then obviously you cannot chant out loud. It has to be mentally chanting. So, Om, inhale. Ah, hold your breath. Hum, exhale. Yeah. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, inhale. Ah, hold your breath. Hum, exhale. And there are variations to that, but this is the most simple, easy
That's a
way.
good one.
Yeah. Om, Ah, Om. Then mentally Om at the top of the egg, white glow. Ah, red glow. Center now of the egg, Hum, blue glow. Om, Ah, Om, with breath. Anyway, come back to here. Those are the 3 syllables. If you're like, I don't know what the syllables look like, then it's sufficient to have a glowing white in this area, glowing blue, glowing red, glowing blue. But now it's not talking about us, it's talking about in front. Right? The medicine Buddha in front in the center, and the 4 goddesses they have Om Ahom in their three places. So for those, from those three places, 3 syllables of light radiates, light radiates out to invite the primordial wisdom beings from the natural expanse of reality. Okay. You know, like, how do I explain these next 2 sections? Okay, this next 2 sections, there are 2 things going on before you look at this. One is called inviting the wisdom beings to dissolve into what you have visualized in front. Okay? Following? Because up to this point, what you have visualized in front is just the container. It's just the container. It's like the shell. The contents are not here yet. So now you have to invite the content to come and take possession of the container. So what they're saying is, up until now, the 4 goddesses, the princely medicine Buddha, is just a shell. It's just a container. Light comes out from the container to invite the actual medicine Buddha, the actual 4 goddesses, to now occupy the container. Likewise, when you buy a Buddha statue and put it on your shrine, if you were in Asia, across all traditions, not just Tibetan, but the Tibetans have the most elaborate. Second level of elaborateness, I think, is Thai. Comes close. Actually, the Thai traditions are also very elaborate, which is, it's not enough to just buy a Buddha statue and put it there. They say it's not being made alive yet. So in the same way that this is a shell, then what you visualize is still a shell. You have to go through a process of filling this container with the contents. And we discovered yesterday there's no content in here.
You've got a job to do.
Here, in Thai Buddha statues, the content is a little easier than the Tibetan one. The Tibetan statues, likely, it could be hollow. Not completely hollow, I don't know, but it could be hollow, this statue, or not hollow, okay? But in the Thai tradition, the body, if it is hollow, need not be filled. They're fine with that. But the Tibetans are like, you got to fill it, because if you don't fill it, something else is going to. Yeah, like downstairs during COVID. Same idea. The Thais and the Tibetans will say, if you don't fill it, or the Tibetans will say the body, if you don't fill it, other entities will take possession. In this statue, for sure, what we know is there is a hollow here. Ta-da! It's actually hollow in there, this part. And what the Thais would do is they would put relics and install them in this part. And then this is ceremoniously sealed. And then consecration rituals are done. In fact, prior to the consecration, they would blindfold the statue. Huh? And when they open the blindfold, nobody can look. Immediately when they open the blindfold, they hold up a mirror. Because they say the gaze will be so powerful, only he can look at himself. So that you are not like, jarred by. Now, on one level, you're like, all these are superstitions. But there are doctrinal principles going on here. They are communicating. Only a Buddha truly sees another Buddha. The rest of us are, it's just you. So that ritual of holding up a mirror. The first time this statue, when it's enlivened, right? When the wisdom beings have dissolved, and in the Tibetan tradition, it's not a blindfold. In the Tibetan tradition, well, it could be a blindfold. As in, when you go to Nepal, you see at the store, at the shop, a lot of the Buddhas are covered their eyes. And you bring it home covered. But there they say, you used a golden needle to open their eyes. So it's called the eye-opening ceremony. You have to appreciate that on the daily level, people are doing this with the statues. And it's based on that now we have the inviting of the wisdom beings into what you visualize in front. That's what's going on. And if we don't have that, which we don't, then this next step, you're like, really? It's a little harder to appreciate the next step in. But it's important that we do this. Because last night I was saying how I think the mistake we import into this material is the mind and the layers of trickery and deception that the mind has is way, way, way more sophisticated than what we think it is. We think that I read this, I understand this, I got it, I'm good. So that can be many of our relationship with the Dharma. We think, I got it, makes sense. But then when suffering actually comes, you're completely incapacitated. So all these different steps, even though I know, I've sat there. Now even sitting here, I'm asking, really? I'll be honest.
Next time you come, you'll do it, right?
Oh, well, I'm not talking about this even, Okay, this is fine. I don't know this. But this, this adhana is replicating this process, right? So even sitting on this side, I am honest to say, I also go, really, do we still need to invite the wisdom beings? I already visualize my guru in the space in front. Do I have to now invite the guru to come again? Because we're not done after inviting. After inviting, we still now need to empower. And you're like, what? The wisdom beings already came. What other empowerment do you need? Actually, in the sadhana, you have the empowerment. Then light goes out again to invite the empowerment Buddhas to come and to empower what's in front. Just as in this, when they do the rituals of installing a Buddha, whether at home or in the temple, right? After they put in the relic, it's like the wisdom being, right? There are like a few days of ritual of empowering. even in the Thai system, which is Theravada. I mean, not Arkansas Theravada. Thai Theravada. They have all these strings that they would tie from the Buddha. You can look, on the internet, like strings that come out from there, and they create a structure where all the monks, right, and lay people, and this elaborate kind of a string, I don't know what you call it, like a canopy, and then from there, string drops down, and every person holds on to this string that drops down, and does days and days of chanting. And this is the line, like the phone line, that would go and dissolve in there from the whole community. All their prayers, all their goes in. And when that is completed, then all the blessings now come down through the string. And that's when the whole village and the whole state of lay people would come to get some of the, good juju that gets sent back out. So the visualization practice has is pointing to what people are seeing happening every now and then at the temple, at people's homes. So it reinforces, this whole. So the whole point here is make it alive. So the head of my order, so I'm not making this up, he says, they are beating a dead horse here. Emphasizing and re-emphasizing, you have to really feel that this is real. And so he says, inviting the wisdom being, giving the empowerments. He says, at the beginning, especially when you're just learning this practice, he says, don't get stuck in all of this. The main point being said here is gain confidence that this is not just make-believe over here. So you feel that this is actual medicine Buddha. You're in the presence of medicine Buddha. Now, His Holiness is not saying, I don't believe. He's saying, no point. Then we go back to the point of all these seemingly repetitive things, they are working at refining our confusion. Right? It might seem overwhelming. Why do I have to do this again and again and again? Because our fixation is very stubborn. The way we fixate on someone else's sperm and ovum as I is very stubborn. So now we need to hammer back in this other one again and again and again and again. But it doesn't mean that you have to start off by hammering so strongly. You'll just be traumatized by it. So here, page 9 to 10 is basically inviting wisdom being and receiving empowerments. Up to page 9. These bodies are filled and defilements are purified. The excess liquid overflows above and becomes Akshobhya at the great bliss chakra of the Bhagavan medicine Buddha. And a medicine Buddha appears at the crown of each of the 4 medicine goddesses. Then, so really up until now is what I would call setting up the stage. You set up the stage, you send out the invitation, the guest now is here. Then starting from the middle of page 10 is when you are now interacting with. medicine Buddha. By first giving the 8 offerings. The 8 offerings are based on ancient Indian hospitality rituals. When an important guest comes to the house, first you offer them a drink, and that is argam. Right? If you look at page 10, argam is a cooling drink. On page 10, argam. Padyang is a basin of water to wash off the dust that is in their feet. India is a dusty place. When travelers travel, tired feet. So it's a mini spa treatment. So you wash their feet with padyang. Pushpe is a garland of flowers. Like a flower. What do you call them in Hawaii? A lei? Yeah, so you offer that. Right? And tupe is incense. In India, if you've ever been here, smells are really strong. So incense have to be stronger than whatever, organic smells that it's a very humid place. Smells are strong. So incense is basically to make it pleasant. Then aloke is light, illuminating the space. Now that you've illuminated the space, Gande is like it's an Indian lotion. So the closest equivalent to what we have is lotion. But this lotion is not just to moisturize. This lotion is used in India to cool down the body. And it's often made out of like sandalwood paste for cooling down the body. So that's Gande. Naivedya is food. So you offer snacks or meals to your guests. Shabda is music, sound. You're offering sound. So the first interaction is to give these 8 offerings, followed by invocation. So you praise the Buddha. You praise him by way of praising his physical form qualities, page 11 at the bottom. Then speech qualities on page 12. Then heart or mental qualities on page 13. The limitless secrets of your exalted heart, exalted mind. Then on page 13, you are praising the lineage gurus, all the masters of healers, all the healer masters. If you look at the top of 14, it says, I prostrate to and praise all your lineage gurus. And then praise to the 4 medicine goddesses on 14. 15, praising the rest of the assembly, the haughty assembly of Shanglon, proud and prideful assembly of Shanglon, rishis, planets, stars, gods, nagas, gyalpo, zen spirits, king warriors, and maras. So that's the first interaction. Now we get to the main part, which is called the recitation.
Should we do lunch first?
Sure.
I don't know if you have a slide.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, so the recitation part, right? A lot of details.
A lot of details.
Not so much Because during the recitation, basically, it's the exchange of light that goes back and forth between Medicine Buddha in front and yourself. But the description of what is in the Medicine Buddha's heart, yeah. The central channel here is called the Gati channel. It's a Dzogchen vocabulary. For those of you who know what Dzogchen is. In Dzogchen vocabulary, they don't call it the Avaduti. In Sanskrit, it's Avaduti. In Tibetan, it's Uma, like the central channel. They call it the Gati channel. But it's the same central channel. But inside the central channel, there is a red hexagon-shaped jewel. Inside the hexagon-shaped jewel, there is a sun disk. On that sun disk, there is a crystal vajra, which is this object here. Inside the crystal vajra is a Hung syllable. On top, these 5 points are the 5 peaceful Buddhas. Below are the 5 wrathful Buddhas. Inside the Hung, surrounding it, are the syllables of the mantra. Which is to say, there are really very subtle levels of confusion to be purified, to be cleansed. But when we first start, right? Like at my center, we've been doing this for the last month or 2 every Wednesday. I just simplify it to this. There is a Hung syllable in your heart. There's a Hung syllable in Medicine Buddha in front's heart. The Hung syllable in your heart is sitting on a moon disk. The Hung syllable in Medicine Buddha's heart is sitting on the sun disk. That's it. Then mantra recitation. Then the exchange of energy, of blessings. You invoke Medicine Buddha with longing devotion. Medicine Buddha responds with wisdom and compassion. You think like that. Then you just recite the mantra. Then light goes out from your heart, goes into his heart. Light comes out of his heart and from the 4 goddesses, dissolve into your heart. He is the ultimate aspect of Medicine Buddha. The 4 goddesses are the relative aspects of Medicine Buddha. He is in charge of the ultimate healing of the 3 poisons. They are in charge of the healing of the 3 energies. Yeah. So think of it that way, basically. So him and the 4 goddesses takes care of relative illness, mundane physical illness, and illness of the mind, of the heart. So the light comes to you, then you go send it out again, and it comes to you, and you send it out again, and it comes to you. Don't worry about all the details now. If you actually stick and connect with this practice, then you will slowly, add the other layers. And I would say, all of this are like, even your simplification is driving me nuts. Then there is a very pithy, right? A very simple essence way of practicing this, which is you are Medicine Buddha here, Medicine Buddha there, and forget about all this, right? And inside your heart, inside the heart, just the mantra. Start there. And don't get drowned in all these words. Then you add. I'm not saying stop there, start there. Then you add the next layer. Yeah. So now, lunch break.
Yeah, let's come back in an hour.
Or better yet, don't go away.
Well, we all have our food. Yeah, you can eat at your chair if you want to. Around seats. Can people join the Wednesday practice on Zoom at your place?
They can, if I'm there. If I'm not there, I don't know what they're doing.